All right, y'all. Sprinkling a little bit. I'm about to get the three-wheeler started up. We've been doing tons of work on it. I hope the filming that I've done has been halfway decent. I'm jumping back and forth from different projects, but what we're gonna do is put some fuel in it. And I just finished, in fact, let me show you. I just finished patching the tank. The first layer I did 3 layers in the underbelly here, where most of the fuel was sitting. There was probably like 5-6 different little pinholes in there. Then the next leak I found was here, that's 2 layers. And here, the final leak that I found is 2 layers, meaning the leak was there. Then what I did is I wire wheeled it and then applied the steel weld, Permatex steel weld, 1 coat, and then what I did is once 24 hours later it was dry, I roughed it up again with wire wheel and then got some more fresh metal around it, and then I laid another layer. So we're pretty good there. One thing I'm not happy with, this newer the aftermarket fuel cutoff valve, the nozzle sits lower than the original. So I'm hoping that the carburetor's not gonna have any issues getting fuel. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sure as long as there's enough fuel in the tank to kind of push the fuel in, obviously the engine's gonna be pulling. I think we're gonna be good, but maybe when it's really low on fuel, it'll have trouble, you know, flowing. I don't know. So we're gonna put some gasoline in it. I've got the XL70 battery charging right now. That's the old one. I don't know if that's gonna work or not. Let's go ahead and get some light on the subject. I'm pretty excited. I should have, when I first got the tank, I should have just rinsed it out and put fuel in it, because fuel is thinner than water. So I had it full of water, and actually it was apple cider vinegar, and that's what I used to treat the tank. Wasn't leaking at all. I got done with that. Sorry, making sure none of our dogs are going crazy. Now, what I think may have happened is I left the apple cider vinegar in there too long, and it may have developed leaks, but or maybe made the holes a teeny bit bigger. But what I really think, because it was sitting there full of apple cider vinegar, no leaks at all. So once I put fuel in it, then I actually could find all the leaks, and it was a process. And then I finally filled it all the way full with fuel, which I'm not going to do right now. My main goal now is to get enough fuel in it for the to determine if our new cutoff valve is actually going to work. But we've done so much work to it so far, too much to list. Mainly, of course, we've got our ignition switch wired back in. We've got our neutral light, I'll show you in a minute, that works. What's going on, everybody? Back in the garage. It's getting to be that time where all the work we're doing on the three-wheeler is about finished. Got done with our patchwork, and I just put some layers of duct tape over it, so in case something hits it, it doesn't want to chip it off. Got everything sealed up on the other side, and the last thing I'm going to do is try and salvage this gasket. I really don't need it. I'm going to do silicone, a little bit of silicone as well. Get all this cleaned up. What I'm going to do with the Recoil starter, first I got to add oil, is I'm going to get everything cleaned up, and I'm just going to shorten the original rope since it still works, and then that should fix the issue, and then we'll have one of these just to have. So that's it. I'm going to get going, get this cleaned up, properly lubricated, and then properly sealed up, and then we'll move on to adjusting the chain. And then after we get it running and everything's good to go, I may or may not adjust the valves and the cam chain, but not completely necessary, as it does seem to run pretty decent. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. All right, y'all, just about done with this part of the project, I took this apart so I can get it to recoil. And the issue with this one is it wasn't preloaded before it was tied. So what I did is I took it all apart, cleaned everything, and retied this because I was initially going to shorten it, but I realized that once you have it wrapped, you turn this counterclockwise 2 full rotations, and then while you're holding it, you got to put it through here and tie it off, and then it's like in there good. So what I did is I just cleaned everything up. I'm just gonna leave that original gasket there and just put some silicone around the whole situation, really light coat, and then that'll be done, and then I'll fire it up. Hoping that we cured the vacuum leak high idle issue, and then we will just get her tuned up. And the last on the list is the lubricate the chain and adjust it. And then once we get it running, I'll listen for the valves, and I'll just listen to see if I can hear anything off, because I just don't want to mess with too much more. I just want to get this thing buttoned up so it's ready for the trip. So there you go. But yeah, this thing's nice and good to go. I got to clean the face of it. But yeah, I'm really happy that I was able to get it together. So, and then of course I pointed out beforehand that now I just have a spare road. So looking awesome. Let's get her sealed up. All right, y'all, we got our third cable. The first one, I had to trim the head, and it weakened it, and the thing came off once there was some stress on the handle. The second one, instead of trimming that, I trimmed the handle side, which if you've seen the previous episode. But then as I was adjusting it to where it was a little bit tighter, it also pulled out. So my idea is, just like my dad's, I kind of had it like that, but I still wasn't happy with the braking, so I wanted to improve it. Now I'm just going to be happy with whatever I get. I want this cable to not break, so I'm going to have it where it's just 50% brake, just touching it. In fact, I marked it right here. This little dot right here is where the front brake stops. So what I'm going to do is adjust it to where when that hits the handlebar, it's just touching this and nothing else. And I think the whatever pads or shoes that are inside here are definitely shot. So again, I'm not trying to do too much with too little. So we're gonna get this thing installed, and of course finished lubricating and adjusting the chain. Last on the list would be to adjust the cam chain. Probably does need to be adjusted up, which it's self-adjusting. So I gotta get that bolt, loosen it, and just loosen the adjuster in there so it can come to rest where it wants to. And that's where problem is the device is supposed to just move automatically, gets stuck over time, because of course it sits there for months and months and years. This, I'm not too happy with it because it's a little floppier than how I had it set up. I think I wound it around the wrong way, maybe, but I don't know. It's definitely, it stays in though. So again, I siliconed it on there. So I'm not messing with that till after our trip. I don't know if I'll ever mess with it. I'll only mess with it if it keeps falling out, which I'll put that on there. I'll probably end up putting a zip tie right there too. As long as we've got the electric start, I'm really not worried about that. So, but I want to make sure it works, of course, if we ever have issues with the stock tab. So, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing on. All right, y'all, we've got the cable hooked up, running down there, and I've got it still lightly adjusted. That's hitting the handlebar. That's how I want it. I want the handlebar to, just like my dad pointed out, I want the handlebar taking up the brunt of the force instead of the end of this cable. Like if you had it cranking maxing out right here, this whole thing here is gonna get stressed. So It's good to keep her light. I'm just gonna try and baby it. And rear brakes probably could be tightened up a little bit so it's not such a long throw until they activate, so I'll probably do that. And these tires are pretty much shot. He's got tubes in them. They're nice tires. I'll have to look into getting new rubber at some point. That'll be the phase. That'll be phase 2.0 of this thing, because I'm basically done with it besides that cam chain. The next phase will be fixing the muffler and the exhaust leak where it meets up with the pipe, and then maybe getting some new tires slash what have you. But honestly, guys, this project has been fun. I learned a lot. We're definitely gonna get some footage on the trail here in about just over a week. So I got to get this thing finished up, and because that's gonna be our road rig. And jeepers, I need to get that trailer registered like tomorrow. I'll make sure that I get that all squared off too. So crunch time. Here we go. He doesn't know the shifts. Oh, cool.